bone density and also maintain bone density. That's what we're going to be looking at in this tutorial. We're going to go through one exercise at a time. We're going to talk about the teaching points, and then as I work through, I'm going to be talking about the overriding principle that you could kind of bring to most exercises to help maintain and build bone health. Exercise number 1 is the back squat. Now, with the back squat, if I just go into it and then talk you through how it's going to be performed. So we come in. Now this is obviously with a barbell. The barbell is going to sit on the upper part of the back, not on the neck, but just above the shoulder blades. Then we bring it off the stack and then we take a couple of steps back. So that's going to be our start position. Then we're going to perform the exercise where we bend the knees, flex at the hip, maintain the neutral posture through the spine. Just going down as far as you can, pushing the knees out to the side. And what I mean by that, if I just turn around, as we go down, what we don't do, collapse our knees in like so. We maintain knees out over the feet, towards the outside of the feet, and back up. Now, why is this a very good, and why have I put this at number 1 for maintaining bone health? Because the overriding principle of how you build bone health is load. So the muscles need to experience and go through load, so they pull on the bone. What you also need is the compressive action of an exercise. So here we can put weight on this bar, and this bar sits on our back. Now the advantage with this is we don't have to hold on to this weight with our hands. So our hands aren't the limiting factor. So when we go into position, the load is always on our back. We've got the compression going right down through our spine, down into our pelvis, and then down through both of our legs. So we've got all that compression coming all the way down. So it's not at the moment, it's not going down through the arms, but we've got it all the way down through the spine, across the pelvis, and down through both legs. Again, our limiting factor isn't our hands. So if we need to be able to use it, now you can use all 3 of these exercises to do it, but you may have limitations like grip strength, which may take out some exercises. But with this one, you can maintain a heavy weight because all the weight sits on your back. So that's why I put this as the first one, because in some respects it could be said to be the best one because there's least limiting factors. Obviously, you require good core strength for it. You require good hip range of movement to go down as far as is required, if you will. But with that said, you can kind of go down into a half squat. So where I've gone down to sort of 90 degrees at the knee, maybe a bit further, maybe parallel, you can go halfway and back up, because again, you want the muscle tension from the weight, but you also want the actual load going down through the skeleton, which is what's going to help build and maintain good bone health as you go into the older ages and later years. So exercise number 1 for building and maintaining good bone health is the back squat. Now again, you can load this up. This bar is 20 kilos. There are other variations for it, but you need the intensity. So you could use 2 slightly lighter dumbbells. So you could hold onto a couple of dumbbells here, but you won't be able to go as heavy because you've got your hands could be the limiting factor. Whereas with this, albeit it may be a little bit scary going onto a back squat and going on to using a barbell, but it's going to be more beneficial because you need to be able to get high load. You don't really want to be doing any more than 6 reps for this type of exercise. So when you get to the 6th rep, you don't really want to be able to do it again. Now, as I mentioned that, you do need to build up to that. So it's not just a case of going in, throwing on loads of weight and going and doing 6 reps and only doing 6 reps. I recommend starting with higher reps, lighter weight, and building up to a heavy bar like this. So you get the competency with the technique, you get the understanding of the load, and then you're able to build into 6 reps. So don't think I'm saying go straight in and do 6 reps heavy. Start with a barbell, get used to it, and then build up to heavy load, because that's what's going to help you build build and maintain good bone density and health. Exercise number 2 is also with the barbell, and we're going to be doing an overhead press. Now, you don't have to do the overhead press with a barbell like this. You can use dumbbells, but again, the overriding principle is it needs to be heavy. You need to be able to complete 6 reps, and that's pretty much all you can complete. If you can complete more, it's not quite heavy enough. And then you want to be completing 3 to 5 sets of those 6 reps. So we want to be doing it nice and heavy, short, long rest, so short reps, long rest, to be able to get the maximum from it, because again, we want the load going down through the body. Now, the advantages of the overhead press is it gets the arms and the shoulders going. You can use a dumbbell press, there's nothing wrong with that. Dumbbell press can do a very similar job, but we've got the overhead press. It's very functional in the way that if you're lifting something up above your head, this is what the bar's for. Now, as I mentioned, the bar is 20 kilos. So for some people, that's just too heavy. So I then recommend using the dumbbells and building up to moving on to a barbell for 6 reps. But again, start with dumbbells. Use dumbbells from 12 reps to 10 reps to 8 reps to 6 reps. So get up nice and heavy on the dumbbells and then start thinking about moving over. When you can do 10 kilos in each hand with a dumbbell, then you come onto the barbell. So with regards to the overhead press, what you do is you come into this position. Now you have your hands just wider than shoulder width apart. What you then do is you can split your stance like this, or you can go neutral like this. And then what you then do is push the weight over your head like so. Pause for a second, come back down, let it rest sort of on the top of the chest, and then push again. And then come back down. The thing to avoid with this one is when you come through, you press over the head and you arch your back, or the hands are above or in front of the head. What you want is basically a vertical line. Up like so, into this position, and then you come down. Now with regards to bone health and maintaining it, this is now starting to bring in the arms and the hands into the equation, because we're pressing over the head, so you've got all that load coming down through into the shoulder blade and spine, and to some degree you'll get a bit from the legs, but it's not quite heavy enough for the legs. But we've got the arms, so that's obviously both arms. It's going all the way down through the body, and all that load's going to be coming down, plus you're going to get the muscle contraction, which again is going to be pulling on the bone, which is going to be adding more sort of tendon strength, muscle strength, and bone density to it as well. So exercise number 2, this time for the upper body, is the overhead press, but make sure you can build up 6 reps, 10 kilos in both hands if you're using dumbbells. So you need to build up to that. Then you can come across onto a barbell like this. You've also got alternative exercises like the dumbbell press, where you're led down on your back, pushing up, but I'll add that in into another video. But for now, because of the functional side to it and the lifting up over the head, we're gonna go with overhead press, and then we'll talk about dumbbell press in another video. Exercise number 3 is the deadlift. Now I've put this at number 3 because there could be a few limiting factors. One is the grip strength, and 2 is the range of movement, being able to get down and hold on to the weight. Now the advantage of this is I'm using what's called a hex bar, because it's shaped like a hexagon, but what it's also got are these handles. So this bar here, with these bumper plates on, is about the same height as a barbell. Now a barbell could be too low for some people, so with these handles, you're another sort of 2.5, 3 inches above that. So range of movement becomes less of a limiting factor. But obviously grip strength is still going to be a limiting factor. So if we go into the deadlift, now a deadlift is lifting from the floor. Dead position, we lift up. Now what we do here is we use more of the hips, less of the knees. With the squat, it was more knee, less hip. Now we go into this position, so you can see a little bit less knee, a little bit more hip. So we have feet sort of hip to shoulder width apart. We obviously hold onto the handles in the center, and then we lift up. stand up straight, and then we do the same movement in reverse. So we would hold at the top for a second, again maintain tension, and then drop down. Now again, as I mentioned, grip strength can be a limiting factor because we just want to be able to do 6 reps. Now again, we've got to build up to that. So you would start with 12, then go to 10, then go to 8. Obviously, when you go at 12, you're at a certain weight. You add weight to it, go to 10, add weight to it, go to 8, add weight to it, go to 6. That's going to take you a number of weeks to build that up. I would work it alongside another sort of part of your training, which is to build the core strength as well, because again, when we're in this position, we need to be holding a solid torso. What we don't want is when we lift, the back to round. We want to be able to maintain that position there, all the way through and to the top. And then on the same on the way back down. So I recommend sort of adding it into a more complete training protocol or training program, and that's going to take a number of weeks to build up to that 6 reps. We also want the load going down through the body. Now what's happening here, as I mentioned, with back squat, you don't have the hands involved. Now you do. This should be a heavier lift than your squat. So your grip strength, you need to be able to hold this. So the reason I put the back squat first and not this one is because that one doesn't use grip strength and this one does. You may need to build your grip strength up before you can do 6 reps, which should be heavier than your 6 reps of back squat. In healthy individuals, that should be the case. Your deadlift should be stronger than your squat. But if you're new to this, if you're looking to get and build bone health and build bone density, these are the types of sort of methods and strategies that you need to build. So you need to build lighter weight, build the grip strength, get heavier, get heavier, get heavier over a period of months. So that's going to take time. With regards to the movement, again, we need the range of movement at the hip to get down here. We need the strength of the core to hold here. And just like the squat, if I turn this round, we need to be able to maintain knee position all the way through the movement. What we don't want is when we go down for that to collapse in like that. What we want, knees out, all the way down. So we want these heavy lifts to be able to build and maintain our bone density, because again, what we've got, the hands are gripping, so the hands are going to get a degree of bone density as well. The arms to some degree, because the muscles are going to be working and compressing around the bone. But what we then get is the weight compressing our whole body from our shoulders down into the floor. So we've got that which the body is going to respond to. So if that can be heavier than the back squat, then it's only going to be better for the bones. So we want to build that up. And obviously we've then got the leg muscles having to do their work from the hips, the quads, the hamstrings, the calves as well, all doing their work, all pulling on bone, which is going to make the deadlift that much more effective. So as a quick summary, exercise number 1, the back squat, is the best one because although it does have limiting factors, grip strength isn't one of them, so you can manage those limiting factors. Overhead press, because it's for the upper body, and then deadlift, which is probably the best exercise, and it's functional because we are going through that lifting pattern. So it's a very functional type of exercise because we lift all day, or we can be lifting every day, whatever it may be. So it's very functional, but we just have a couple more limiting factors, which could be range of movement, which could be grip strength. So we aren't able to lift as much as our legs can lift because our hands are the limiting factor. Many thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this content, please do hit the like button. If you've learned something new, hit the thanks button. If you've got a comment or a question, leave it below. And if you want to watch more tutorials like this, hit the subscribe and the bell icon.